So I've been getting a lot of video questions about factoring trinomials and why not do these. I broke these out from COVID. So these are my handy guides to how to factor trinomials. So we'll start off with the first one, your basic one. This is, of course, when a is 1, meaning that the x squared has no value in front of it, so it's just 1. And so you have an all positive trinomial, as you can see right there. So these are the steps. Screenshot it, save it for later, do all those things if you want to help you so that you know how to do it. But the first thing you're going to do is set up your binomials. You put them like that. So x and x in the sets of parentheses. Because it's an all positive trinomial, you're going to just put x plus x plus. So that's your first two steps. Your next step is going to be finding all the positive factors that will get you whatever that c value is, or your constant. That's the one at the end right here. So as you can see as an example, I did one right here. So you're trying to find all factors that factor out to be 6, positive 6. So all positive factors would be 1 and 6, and then 2 and 3. And then your fourth step is to choose the pair that adds up to give you the b, which is the middle term. That's this term right here. So in this case, we're looking for the set of these that adds up to get you a 5. And obviously the only two that add up to 5 are 2 and 3. So those get placed right here and here. As you can see, it doesn't really matter whether 3 goes here, 2 goes here. It really doesn't make a difference. But that's how you would get that type of setup right there. And so this would be your finalized answer for factoring. Now we're going to take a look at what happens when I have an all negative problem like this one. This is a little bit trickier. So when you have a negative negative, again, a is just 1, so that means that your number in front of x squared is just 1, or there is no number. Setting up the binomials, that's always the first step, is x in the binomials. But in this case, you're going to put one of them is a plus, one of them is a minus. So you're going to have a combination of both of them. You're going to do that same thing. You're going to find all the factors of c. In this case, it's a negative c. So you want all possibilities of numbers that will factor out, multiply to get you at -6 in this case, because that's what we have in this problem right here. And so we're going to choose a pair that gives you that middle term again. So here's my -6. Here's all my factor pairs. I do need to include all the combinations. So a -1 and a +6. Notice that I have the +1 and a -6 combination, so you have both of them. And then you do the same thing with the 2 and the 3. One of them is negative, one of them is positive, and then the opposite right there. Then what you're going to do is you're looking for the one that, when they add up to the middle number, that gives you that middle number, which in this case is a -1. So the only pair that gives you a -1 in this case would be a -3 with a +1. Those two add up to be a -1. And again, the bigger number, absolute value-wise, is 3. So that's the one that's -1. And you set up your binomial, and it would look like this. If you want a screenshot of this, go ahead and screenshot that one so you have it for later. I'm sorry that these look so ratty, but I've had them since COVID, so give me a break. All right, the next one. What happens here when we have a positive negative? So when we have a positive negative trinomial, again, these are all when a is 1. So the number right here, there is no number, it's just x squared. You're going to set up your binomials again, just like you did in the last one. Same thing, one's going to be positive, one's going to be negative. And then we're doing the same thing. We're finding the factors of that last term, which is a negative number. So in this case, we did the same problem. The only difference is that here, this is a +1x, or just plus x, and this is -6. So same thing as the last one. All factors that multiply to get me -6, same sets that we did in the last one, but in this case, you want the bigger number is going to be the positive number. So again, when you're looking at this, the bigger number, the only two that will add up to get me that one combination when you add them together is +3 and a -2. So the 3 is going to go in the positive spot, while the 2 is going to be in the -1, and that would be how you go ahead and solve that. And that would be the screenshot you might want to take if you would like to take that one for later reference. And then, of course, the last one is what happens when we have a positive 1x squared here. This is negative, but the c is positive. So kind of an easy one like the first one that we did. Set up your binomials, but in this case, your binomials are going to be minus minus. So then we're going to do factors of that C value. So same thing. There's only two sets, negative times a negative this time and a negative times a negative. So those are the same factors as we've been doing in the last few. And then you want the pair that adds up to be that middle term. In this case is a negative 5. The two that add up to a negative 5 are these two, 2 and 3. So that would be your finalized answer. And that is it. Screenshot if you want to screenshot that one for later. And that is pretty much how you go ahead and do the factoring of trinomials. So that's your basic drop of all of them and different types of combinations that you might have. If you want more questions like these, find them on my YouTube, Instagram, and TikTok at U1Algebra. All these are located in the quadratic functions playlist. Don't forget to share, like, follow me for more. Save this for later, and I will see you soon.